Lesson 1. The World Within. There is a world within, a world of thought and feeling and power, of light and life and beauty, and although invisible, its forces are mighty. The world within is governed by our mind. When we discover this world, we will find the solution for every problem, the cause for every effect. And since the world within is subject to our control, all laws of power and possession are also within our control. Some would say we can't express powers we don't possess. However, power is already within our grasp. The only way we can gain possession of power is to become conscious of it. And we can never become conscious of it until we learn that all power is from within. We must be before we can do. We can do only to the extent to which we are. And what we are depends upon what we think. Therefore, the first step is simply to think. Outer circumstances reflect inner consciousness. The world without reflects the circumstances and the conditions of the consciousness within. Since the world without is a reflection of the world within, what appears around us shows us what we have been thinking within. In the world within, we can find infinite wisdom, infinite power, and infinite supply of all that is necessary. It's simply waiting for development and expression. If we recognize these potentials in the world within, they will take form in the world without. If we find wisdom in the world within, we'll have the understanding to discern the marvelous possibilities that are latent in this world within, and we shall be given the power to make these possibilities manifest in the world without. As we become conscious of the wisdom in the world within, we mentally take possession of it, and by taking mental possession, we come into actual possession of the power to bring into visible manifestation the essentials for our most complete and harmonious development. Mental efficiency is contingent upon harmony. Discord means confusion. Therefore, he who would acquire this power must be in harmony with natural law. Harmony in the world within will be reflected in the world without as agreeable conditions, pleasant surroundings, and having the best of everything. It's the foundation of health and a necessary essential to all greatness, all power, all attainment, all achievement, and all success. Harmony in the world within means the ability to control our thoughts and to determine for ourselves how any experience will affect us. Harmony in the world within results in optimism and affluence. Affluence within results in affluence without. All possessions begin in consciousness. Life is an unfolding, not a process of adding on. What comes to us in the world without is the unfolding of what we already possess in the world within. All gain is, therefore, the result of a cumulative consciousness, and all loss is the result of a scattering consciousness. The world within is the practical world in which the men and women of power generate courage, hope, enthusiasm, confidence, trust, and faith. In so doing, they are given the fine intelligence to see a vision and the practical skill to make their vision real. Consciousness and unconscious mind. We relate to the world within. We relate to the world without by the objective conscious mind, dealing with outward objects. The brain is the organ of this mind, and the nervous system puts us in conscious communication with every part of the body. This system of nerves responds to every sensation of light, heat, odor, sound, and taste. When this mind thinks correctly, when it understands the truth, when the thoughts sent through the cerebrospinal nervous system of the body are constructive, these sensations are pleasant, harmonious. The result is that we build strength, vitality, and other constructive forces into our body. But it is through this same conscious mind that all distress, sickness, lack, limitation, and forms of discord and disharmony appear in our lives. It is therefore through incorrect thinking in the objective mind that we experience destructive forces. Perceiving and operating through the five physical senses, the conscious mind deals with the impressions and objects of the outward life. It has the faculty of discrimination, carrying with it the responsibility of choice. It has the power of reasoning, whether inductive, deductive, analytical, or syllogistic, and this power may be developed to a high degree. It's also where the will is located. We relate to the world within by the unconscious or subjective mind. This mind is located in the combination of nerves and hormones and the glands, tissues, and vessels that connect them to control the regular functions that make physical life possible. It presides over all subjective sensations such as joy, fear, love, emotion, respiration, perspiration, imagination, and other unconscious phenomena. Through it, we are connected with universal mind and brought into relation with the infinite constructive forces of the universe. The conscious mind not only impresses other minds through logic and will, but it can also direct the unconscious mind. In this way, the conscious mind becomes the responsible ruler, guardian of the unconscious mind. This function can completely reverse conditions in your life. It's often true that conditions of fear, worry, poverty, disease, disharmony, and evil dominate us by false suggestions accepted by the unguarded unconscious mind. The trained conscious mind can entirely prevent all of this by vigilant, protective action. It may properly be called the watchman at the gate of the great unconscious domain. An unknown writer expressed the chief distinction between the two phases of the mind this way. Conscious mind is reasoning will. Unconscious mind is instinctive desire, the result of past reasoning will. The great secret of life is the coordination of these two centers of our being and the understanding of their functions. With this knowledge, we can bring the objective and subjective minds into conscious cooperation and thus coordinate the finite and the infinite. Our future is entirely within our own control, not at the mercy of any capricious or uncertain external power. One consciousness. All religions and increasing numbers of scientists agree that there is but one principle or consciousness pervading the entire universe, occupying all space, and essentially the same at every point of its presence. Consciousness is all power, all wisdom, and always present, and when it thinks, its thoughts become objective things. All thoughts and things are within it. It is all in all. As this consciousness is omnipresent, it must be present within every individual. So each of us must be a manifestation of that omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent consciousness. As there is only one consciousness in the universe, it necessarily follows that your consciousness is part of that universal consciousness, or in other words, all mind is mind. There's no dodging this conclusion. The consciousness that focuses in your brain and body is the same consciousness focusing in the brain and body of every other being in the universe. Each of us is an individualization of universal mind. So as all attributes are contained in universal mind, which is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, these attributes must be present as potential at all times in every individual. They are one. Universal mind simply exists. It is static potential energy and can act or manifest only through individual beings. Mind is static energy. Thinking is dynamic energy, two phases of the same thing. Thought may therefore be said to be the vibratory force formed by converting static mind into dynamic energy. Human consciousness consists only in our ability to think and feel. Thinking is our unique ability to act on the universal and bring it into manifestation. Mind is creative, and our conditions, environment, and all of our experiences in life are the result of our habitual or predominant mental attitude. This means that our every thought is a cause and every condition an effect. So it's absolutely essential that you control your thoughts to bring forth only desirable conditions. Life and growth. The idea that much gathers more is true on every plane of existence. Loss leads to greater loss is equally true. This is because all growth comes from within. This principle is evident throughout nature. Every plant, every animal, every human is a living testimony to this great law. The world within is the universal fountain of supply, and the world without is an outlet to the stream. The error of the ages has been looking for strength or power from without, because our ability to receive depends upon our recognition of this universal fountain, this infinite energy, of which each of us is an outlet, and each has made us one with every other person on the planet. Recognition is a mental process, and as stated earlier, mental process or thinking is our ability to act on universal mind. To recognize the universal fountain within is therefore to interact with universal mind. And as universal mind is the intelligence that pervades all space and animates all living things, this mental interaction is the process of causation. Remember, though, that this causation process is not an objective faculty, but an unconscious process, occurring not in the individual mind, but in universal mind, of which the individual is the active part. And its results may be seen in an infinite variety of conditions and experiences. In order to express life, there must be mind. Nothing can exist without mind. Universal mind is the life principle of every atom, molecule, and cell that exist. Everything is continually striving to manifest more life, and as universal mind is omnipresent intelligence, all are intelligent, and all manifestations of mind are seeking to carry out the purpose for which they were created. So as mind is everywhere, in all things, and forming all things, even the vacuum of space, we can say we live in a fathomless sea of plastic mind substance. In terms of today's science, we would call this the quantum field, which is made up of constantly interacting subatomic wavicles, sometimes showing up as waves and sometimes as particles, which may best be described as tendencies toward binding, bosons, or separating, fermions, and which form the basis for all things and all energy, everywhere. Everything that exists is some manifestation of this one basic substance from which and by which all things have been created and are continually being recreated. Substance is ever alive and active. It is sensitive to the highest degree, taking form according to mental processes. Thought and feeling form the mold or matrix from which the universal substance manifests. Power. This master key brings you into a realization of power that will be yours when you understand the relationship between the world without and the world within. Clearly, the secret of all power, all achievement, and all possession rests in our thinking and the attitude of mind that is generated by our thought. This means that all power is from within and is absolutely under your control. Power comes through exact knowledge and by applying exact principles. It should be plain that when you acquire a thorough understanding of this law and are able to control your thought processes, you can apply it to any condition. At that point, you will have come into conscious cooperation with omnipotent law that is the fundamental basis of all things. Most people live in the world without. Few have found the world within, yet the world within makes the world without. The world within is creative, and everything you find in your world without, you have created in the world within. The world within is the cause, the world without, the effect. And to change the effect, you must change the cause. You will see at once that this is a radically new and different idea. Most people try to change effects by working with effects. They fail to see that this is simply trading one form of distress for another. To remove discord, we must remove the cause, and this cause can be found only in the world within. Applying the principle. Remember that the value of any principle is in its application, and a practical understanding of this law will substitute abundance for poverty, wisdom for ignorance, harmony for discord, and freedom for tyranny. Certainly there can be no greater blessing in the world than these. Now, applying the principle. 1. Select a room where you can be alone and undisturbed. 2. Sit erect, comfortably, but do not lounge. 3. Let your thoughts roam where they will, but be perfectly still for 15 to 30 minutes. 4. Continue this for 3 or 4 days or for a week until you secure full control of your physical being. Many will find this extremely difficult, while others will manage with ease. But it is absolutely essential to secure complete control of the body before you are ready to progress. In Lesson 2, you will receive instructions for the next step. In the meantime, you must master this one. Summary. The world without is a reflection of the world within. The source of all power is the world within, the universal fountain of supply, the infinite energy of which each individual is an outlet. Universal mind is present in every atom, molecule, and cell that exist. We are related to the universal mind by the unconscious or subjective mind, and to the objective world by the objective or conscious mind. Our ability to think is our ability to act upon the universal mind and bring substance into form. The result of this interaction is cause and effect. Every thought is a cause, and every condition an effect.